Renee Paquette just shared her thoughts on the idea of returning to WWE, so we'll see what she had to say. We'll also see what the Usos had to say about Naomi joining the Bloodline, a canceled storyline for Roman Reigns, and much more. Let's start things off with Renee. Renee Paquette, known as Renee Young in WWE, was a very popular non-wrestling personality in WWE. She started off as your usual backstage journalist and interviewer, but as the years went by, her ranking continued to go up. She went from a brief backstage interviewer to hosting segments on WrestleMania kickoff shows to landing panels for pay-per-view events, and made history by becoming the first full-time women's commentator on Monday Night Raw. There were even points there throughout that run where big outlets like ESPN were trying to take Renee away from WWE. WWE was able to hold on to Renee until the pandemic era, where she quietly departed from the company, but received a lot of thanks from WWE and her co-workers. Renee has had a daughter with Jon Moxley, worked on some books, and even created a very successful podcast during this time off. But the big question that's out there is if Renee would ever return to WWE. Quote, "Yeah, I mean, listen, if there's one thing I've learned in pro wrestling is you never say never. You never know what's going to happen, and as I said, it's not like I left WWE because I was like, screw this, I hate this, I don't want to be here. That's not how I left. That's not why I left. So yeah, I think if the right opportunity came up, of course, I would be all ears and be interested in that. There is a big part of me that misses it, of course. I miss it. I miss my friends. There are certain things that I miss. I'm sure within a second of being back, I'd be like, I'm back into this again. But no, I think I would be open to the conversation depending on what it is. It would have to be the right thing. It would have to be something new and fresh and with good people." End quote. So Renee would be open to hear about the offer if she was ever approached by WWE again. Like Renee said, she didn't storm out of the company because she hated it. That wasn't the case at all. She left because she wanted to move, start a family, and do all these different things that really wouldn't be possible when working with WWE full-time. But it sounds like if WWE can offer her something different and unique, along with some people that she really likes, then she would be open to it. Is a return from Renee Young something that you want to see? The popular Bloodline theory that everyone is waiting on, and something we've talked about hundreds of times already, is the idea of Naomi joining the Bloodline. We first heard Paul Heyman's thoughts on the idea, implying that the Bloodline had their eyes and intention on Naomi. Then we heard from Naomi that even she thinks it's weird that she hasn't crossed paths with them over the years. And now we're hearing from her husband and brother-in-law, Jimmy and Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso had this to say on the topic of Naomi joining the Bloodline while appearing on Corey Graves' After the Bell podcast. Quote, "It's very, very likely, man. She talks about it a lot. She talks about, I got an idea. I can jump the gun. I'm ready to just snap. She can snap, man. She snapped on me plenty of times. She can bring that promo. She's so ready to try something new. She's always been adaptive. She gets it. Sometimes I forget she's been here 10 years too." End quote. So now we've heard from Paul Heyman, Naomi, and the Usos on this popular fan theory, and they're all very similar answers. They all want and expect it to happen. Jimmy says it's very likely and even talked about how she's full of so many ideas and concepts for it. Like Jimmy also said, Naomi has quietly been on the main roster for 10 years. She's got experience. She knows everything. And like we talked about last time we went over this idea, Naomi hasn't really been a full heel since 2014-2015. So it's been a long time since she's been able to reach down deep into that evil side of her persona. 7 straight years of being a babyface, there has to be a side to Naomi that's very interested in exploring that heel side to herself that hasn't been touched on in so many years. Jimmy used the word snap a lot, and that honestly looks like what it'll take for Naomi to turn heel and join the Bloodline. She just needs to snap. That big snapping moment could come with her tag team partner, Sasha Banks, down the line. Maybe when they start dropping matches and dropping the titles, everyone is going to start getting suspicious of Sasha and Naomi breaking up. And since Sasha is known for backstabbing a couple of her friends and tag team partners, while Naomi has been a loyal babyface for so many years, everyone would definitely expect Sasha Banks to be the one to viciously attack Naomi. Sorta like the breakup that we saw with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Sasha would be the aggressor of the breakup like Rhea Ripley, while Naomi is the innocent victim like Liv Morgan. But what if the roles were reversed? What if Naomi snaps and turns out to be the one that viciously attacks Sasha Banks? Now that's interesting because you officially open the door to heel Naomi, and the possibility of her joining the Bloodline at that point would be through the roof. So that's probably the best case scenario for how Naomi can join the Bloodline. If she turns heel on Sasha Banks, that really opens up the door. It even sets Naomi up as a big heel threat for Ronda Rousey and her title. So we'll have to keep our eyes out on how that breakup will unfold down the line. In spring of 2021, we saw the big return of Jimmy Uso. Jimmy was cool with both Roman and Jay when he returned, but he made something clear right off the bat. Jimmy's story was that they can all be cool and be family, but that he will not take any orders from Roman Reigns. On top of not wanting to take any orders from Roman, Jimmy was also actively trying to push Jay away from Roman. Jimmy was trying to convince Jay to reunite with him and for them to go after the tag team titles together instead of helping Roman retain the Universal title. It got so heated that Roman and Jimmy eventually asked Jay to pick a side. Who's it going to be that he goes with, Roman or Jimmy? That led to Jay walking out of SmackDown and going home for a few weeks since he couldn't decide. But unfortunately, that was basically the end of that story arc. Jimmy Uso would eventually fall in line with Roman Reigns out of nowhere in those following weeks, with no real detailed explanation. Roman's story was mostly flawless up until this point, but when Jimmy just folded out of nowhere after spending weeks of saying that he would never fold to Roman was a big weak moment from a storyline point of view. The character of Jimmy Uso did everything he said he'll never do, for no particular good reason. And the Usos feel the same way about this scrapped arc, and wish it would have lasted longer. Jimmy had this to say on After the Bell, quote, "What I do wish would have happened was let Jimmy's side of the story prolong more. It was just bad timing because we could have done way more with Jimmy's side to show people different sides, different angles, different acting skills. We were trying to do it all," end quote. Jay is right. It was interesting to see that family tension story going on, but as soon as Jimmy randomly fell in line, it just gave the story an abrupt ending. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.